Welcome back to Is It Still Good, the channel where we watch older films and let you know if they still hold up. Today, we're going to watch a film from my youth, 1985's Weird Science. But first, let's try to sell you guys some of my books. We're back! Okay, hopefully you guys bought all my books. Start with Unkillable Joe, then go to the pink one, okay? Get it at your local bookstore if you don't want to give Amazon any money. Today, we're going to talk about Weird Science. This came out in 1985. It's PG-13, runs 1 hour, 34 minutos, directed by John Hughes, and I have a confession to make. This was a movie you guys kind of all voted on. Like, this movie won the vote. So I'm a little concerned about this review, and I'll kind of get right to it because I'm not a big John Hughes fan. I don't really like John Hughes movies. I did when I was younger. Now as a grown man, I'm just like, bleh. And that is kind of part of the channel, right? Like, a lot of the movies that you really loved, you watch them again and they kind of suck. And sometimes they're really great, and then that kind of becomes legendary in your mind. Like, when you like a movie when you're 8 years old, and then you love it when you're 42, well, goddamn. I mean, what do you want out of a movie? That's like Willow, 1988's Willow. That's why I refused to watch the new crappy, stupid woke show, right? I knew that was gonna suck. It got canceled right away. Who called it? Papa Dragon, that's who. Okay, so, what's the deal with Weird Science? I mean, that was kind of my favorite part in this, is like the dumb science. Makes no sense of any kind, you know? Like, it's just kind of silly. And actually, I did really like the color schemes throughout this movie. Some of the direction was sort of fun. The camera movement does work for me. The casting's okay. You know, it's got Anthony Michael Hall and his homie there. Who's it? Sorry, Ian Michael Smith? And Kelly LeBrock is like the hot chick. Basically what happens is these two kind of like dorky kids who are on the outskirts of like the cool club and are picked on a lot in school, don't really know how to talk to women, and it's kind of a coming of age thing like all John Hughes movies. And so these two boys decide to use their computer to build the perfect woman. So yeah, it's every bit as stupid as it sounds. The best part of this movie for me, I thought, was gonna be, what's his nuts? Bill Paxton. Because I love Bill Paxton. And he plays Chet, the older brother, and this could be potentially the most Bill Paxton role of all time, but I don't know. I gotta report honestly to you guys. I know you're gonna be mad at me. I know you guys may be upset if I don't like this film, but here's the thing. When's the last time you saw it? You know, that's the thing. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie in 10, 15 years and you're defending it adamantly in the comments, please go watch it again, one more time, and then come back and defend it. And if you're going to do that, then your opinion will certainly hold weight with me. But if you're going to rely on how you used to see this film to argue on its behalf now, well, you're missing the point of the channel, okay? I loved this movie as a kid. And on the rewatch, I figured out why. I was these kids. I couldn't get girls to talk to me in school. There was 3 pretty girls in my whole school, and I just fantasized about them all the time. I always tried to catch their eye. I always try to show off for them. I always try to show them my value. And I was one of those kids that hit my growth spurt like after high school. So I was always a little guy, you know? I think I was a handsome little gent, but a little too small for the girls in my school apparently. And it didn't really work out. So Weird Science to me as a young guy was definitely like an outlet. It was definitely like a fantasy that I could partake in. You know, building this hot woman that will do anything for you. By the way, I remember Kelly Brock as being one of the hottest chicks of all time. I watched it again, and I really thought that she had like an attractive torso, abdomen, thorax, whatever you want to call it. But the rest of her, I'm not attracted to Kelly Brock at all in this film anymore. And it's not because of, you know, what she grew into or whatever. It was just because looking at it now, my aesthetic tastes in just humans have changed. What I'm attracted to has changed. So if we take out the attraction to Kelly Brock, this movie just got like way less more interesting. The bikers annoyed the crap out of me. The little dumb fantasy of them like standing up to the bikers. I understand the point of the movie is for the kids to come out of their shell, but I also think it was miscast. Like Downey Jr. was leagues ahead of the other young actors in this. Plus Kelly Brock, like she was like 26. She makes out with like these 15-year-olds. She like grabs them by the crotch. Like, I mean, some of you may be very offended by that. Trigger warning. I wasn't, but I was just like, ew, it's a little weird now. Because I'm 42 and I'm like, And then there were some dumb scenes. Like she meets the one kid's parents and she tells them that they're going to go out and party. And the dad doesn't like that because the kid should not go out to like raging parties, you know, is his vibe. And she puts a gun in his face. Comes up, there's like a lot of gun stuff in this. Chet comes up and his house is trashed, so he puts his shotgun in the sleeping girl's face. He like presses it on her nose and he keeps hitting them on the head with the shotgun. That part pissed me off. That's like lifelong trauma. I know it's a comedy, right? Stuff like that kind of stood out to me. Like the jokes are super shitty. Guys, I'm trashing this movie. I'm not gonna like go off trashing it because I know a lot of you love this film and I don't want to be a jerk, but I'm gonna give it a number score right now. This movie to me was a 5 out of 10. It's exactly a coin flip and I could do without it. I gotta be honest, I don't like John Hughes films. So I'm really sorry to everybody that voted for it, that I kind of pooped on your movie, but I think I'd be remiss if I did not shoot you guys straight. This is just one man's opinion. I'm not saying, you know, I'm the end all be all for weird science, but like a Big Trouble in Little China, it ain't. If you're into that funky 80s stuff, go watch Big Trouble in Little China. That's a solid movie that holds up. That's a lot of fun in a similar vein and done correctly, in my opinion. So hopefully that takes the sting off. I'm sorry, guys, I was mean about it, but I don't like this movie at all. Sucks for me. I think I was generous with the 5 out of 10. I'd give it a 4. You know what? It's a 4 out of 10 for me. Fuck it. It's a 4 out of 10. Ouch. I know. I'm sorry, but the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, oh, I can't stand it. I wanted to fast forward it. I didn't like it. I didn't even take notes. I was like, this sucks. And if you haven't watched it recently, maybe go watch it again, and then maybe you'll see where I'm coming from. So that's all from me, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time on Is It Still Good?